Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Tuesday, 4th of July Eve at 11:21 p.m. Mountain Time 2018. You're looking at the spring fire raging, as well as over 60 wildfires nationwide, burning the planet as we speak. We'll get to it. Denver, a growing wildfire destroying more than 100 homes in the Colorado mountains set by a Danish man, while other blazes across the parched U.S. West kept hundreds of other homes under evacuation orders Tuesday and derailed holiday plans. Authorities announced late Monday that a fire near Fort Garland, 205 miles southwest of Denver, destroyed 104 homes in a mountain housing development started by multimillionaire publisher Malcolm Forbes back in the 70s. Lots of memories lost here. Hundreds of historic cabins that have gone from generation to generation back to the 60s. The blaze, labeled a spring fire, is one of 6 large wildfires burning in Colorado. It's the largest at 123 square miles, 5 times the size of Manhattan. While investigators believe it was started by a spark from the Danish man's fire pit, other fires like the one burning in the wilderness near Fairplay were started by lightning. Now, nearly 60 large active blazes are burning across the West, including 9 in New Mexico, 6 each in Utah and California, according to the National Interagency Fire Center. And that is a blazing boom of blazes. Look at this. It gets stuck and it sits in the corner here. There we go. A little bit of fire footage before we move on with the update, as we're about to chill out and then heat up back again. That's the region where the homes were lost. Snow blankets parts of the northern Rockies days before the July 4th holiday. So not only is wildfire adding insult to injury, Al Gore's predictions not coming true, as snow blankets parts of the northern Rockies Monday, including snow and some higher elevations in Montana and Idaho. You're looking at Schweitzer Mountain, Sandpoint, Idaho, July 2nd. And that is a snowman. Yes. That's not Al Gore. It's a snowman. That's right, Dominica. Record low temperatures Tuesday in Eugene, Oregon. Coldest July temperature ever recorded. And that's tonight's first boom. You've probably been hearing about the whole world burning up today, as headlines across the nation, including CNN, Heatwave turns deadly, and barely any records are broken. We'll get to the nonsense. Here are the facts. Eugene, Oregon, coldest July temperature ever recorded. Let's talk about the heat wave. Notice these are all the 90s here. Today's highs. Back in 1934 on July 2nd, all of these cities were over 100 degrees. And that was extremely hot and had nothing to do with man or global warming. It had to do with a cycle that made it really hot back then. Just like today when it's not that hot. 89 in Syracuse. Whew, blistering. Now, 80 million people remain under heat advisory or warning Tuesday, with barely scorching temperatures and humidity expected through the 4th of July. Reports of 8 heat-related deaths, several of which are not heat-related, have happened. Temperatures have been in the mid-90s since Sunday. Well, it's summertime, and that is the average temperature for all of these places. Highs around 93, before dropping back to 77 degrees in the summer. This is total BS. With a global warming narrative. And we're going to look at a little bit more. Heat warning continues at Sussex Airport, shattering records. Monday's heat of 95 shattered the old record of just 1 degree less. Absolutely a lie. That's not a shattering. That's barely beating. And if you incorporate heat island effect, this number, 94, was back in 2002. So you would expect in 15 years, with millions of people increasing in that area, an increase in heat island effect by 1 degree to be probably less than the average heat island effect. So there's no shattering of records. And in fact, the next sentence they reveal it, but still fell short of the country's high water mark for the date of 100 degrees back in 1901 during the centennial minimum. Right here, the solar minimum of cycle 13. Look at this cycle. That's what 25 is going to look like. So we're repeating a cycle back to 1901, which is caused by the sun, not by man. And this heat was also seen back in the 1600s with the early Jamestown colony in this region, where they saw the harshest winters ever. They almost all died, and extreme droughts and heat waves in the summer. In the Maunder minimum. And that's a boom. How prepared are you? Do you have enough water? Your circuit breaker for 3 days and tell me how that goes. If you can do that and experience not a single problem, then you're probably slightly prepared. Toxic algae level reaches record highs. This is east of Bakersfield. An algae bloom is present. Algal blooms can produce toxins that can cause illness in humans and animals. No swimming. Do not let pets go into or drink the water. Do not eat fish or shellfish. Why would you go here? Public health officials have warned no one to go to this hellhole. Kern County, east of Bakersfield, gets a less than 2 stars rating. So that's all we'll mention about it. This is due to toxic runoff because of man, not because of global warming. And because we're all worried about CO2 as a pollutant, we're not worried about actual pollutants. And that's just the sheeple are idiots. It's boom of the day. Can you please tax me? Carbon dioxide is so dangerous. I heard it was plant food. I'd rather our plants be grown in a lab with our meat. Dangerous heat wave continues in central and eastern U.S. for Independence Day. Heat to build across the southwest U.S. late week. This is going to be a great respite for us. That's going to drive the monsoon into the Four Corners region, completely saturating us. And Ryan Malway's got my back on this. This week's heat wave with very humid conditions will continue across the central and eastern U.S. through at least Independence Day. Record highs are possible, but probably won't be broken. And nighttime lows could remain above 80, as is normal in many of these areas in the summer, especially urban centers due to the heat, the urban heat island effect. I love how the truth is in plain sight. By Friday, just as the current heat wave ends, a cold wave will hit. Dangerous heat will build across the southwest and drive that monsoon into the Four Corners region, which is looking good for us. It's going to be windy tomorrow, kids. Don't flick any cigarette butts out the window. Now, let's get on with the Northern Hemisphere news. It's dropped down in Africa, my bad. Western Cape mountain passes after heavy snowfall. It's winter down here, but it doesn't snow often in South Africa. And despite heavy snowfall in parts of the Western Cape, several mountain passes were closed on Monday, and they have now been opened. Table Mountain included here. Swartzberg Pass near Prince Albert in the Klein Karoo remain closed. The weather is looking all right. There are no more snowstorms, but we're still monitoring the situation, said Africa. Isn't that a country? How did they say that? Heavy snowfall was also reported on the Lutzenberg Pass between the Middelburg and Graaf Reinet in the Eastern Cape on Monday. Christmas in July has started already in the Cape. We freezing. Man, they have shitty English. So far, summer for 2018 is a total bust in Iceland. Worst on record in Reykjavik. We've been reporting on this for months. Started in Moscow with barely a peep of sun for an entire month. 6 minutes or something. Moving over to Europe, and now here we are in Iceland. So far, the summer of 2018 in Reykjavik is the single worst on record. June saw less sunshine than any other year since reliable monitoring began by the Icelandic Meteorological Office. Totally fluxed up there. And that's over 100 years of data. May also set the record for the wettest May on record. Totally fluxed again. Unfortunately, there is nothing to suggest July will be less of a total flux out. And that is your grand solar minimum flux news of the boom day. Whatever that means. Drought-stricken Iran accuses Israel of stealing clouds and snow. I know my head exploded too. How dare you, Israel? You own Hollywood and now you own the clouds and the snow, you fuckers. 16 killed, 92,000 evacuated after floods hit Guangxi, China. This totally awesome place that always looks like this, clearly. With this guy on his bike. Amazing footage there. 16 people have died and another 10 are missing after several days of heavy rain caused floods in southwest China's Xinjiang Autonomous Region. According to Xinhua, some 92,000 people were forced to evacuate from their homes June 30th and July 1st after heavy storms started affecting the region, causing direct economic losses at $450 billion. A number of multi-story buildings collapsed in one city, the westernmost prefecture level of Guangxi, population 3.8 million. That's $500 billion. That is totally fluxed. 3 major rivers above danger mark, 17 killed in floods and landslides across Nepal. Look at the oxen. They're even affected. Think about the oxen. At least 17 people have been killed and 3 are still missing after heavy monsoon rains totally fluxed areas across Nepal, authorities said, including the oxen. Hundreds of people were displaced after rain-swollen rivers started eroding embankments and inundating several settlements in the Terai region. Landslides hit several mountainous areas while hundreds of homes and farmlands ended up under floodwaters. The heaviest casualties occurred in the country's midwestern and eastern regions. 3 people died in Manki. 1 person was killed and 1 went missing after a group of students returning home from school attempted to cross the flooded Pampai Stream in Padang Municipality 5. Look at, and this bus driver apparently needs a raise. Look at the destruction and look at them watching. Why aren't they helping? This is amazing. This bus driver trying to get there early took the shortcut. Heads up. Everyone had a flotation device. So, and it turns out he did get there 8 minutes early. Albeit heavily soiled. Okay, enough of that. There they go, just speeding off to tonight's performance at the play. Seismic update. No major quakes of note. Kilauea exploding again less than 24 hours. Unfortunately downgraded to 5.1 as a volcanic explosion, the smallest in the string of explosions that have been occurring over the past several weeks. We went up as high as 5.4, averaging 5.3 over the last several days, and now dropping down to 5.1 explosion. It seems to me that this volcano has reached its apex and is now quieting down in the eruption, which will last for 3 to 7 more weeks and thereby end the event. It's not to say there will be another additional event which could happen, but this event seems to be ending. No other quakes of note. Largest circle on the map, 5.6, kicking off in the Philippines at 100 kilometers of depth. Everything else looks pretty normal, kids. 4.5 kicking off in Mayotte today. Rattling nerves, as we reported on yesterday. Let's go on to the worldwide volcano news update. Ducono volcanic ash advisory, Reventador. We've got Krakatoa, child of Krakatoa, continuing to erupt, as well as Ducono Agong Sabancaya. Now, Krakatoa is showing continuous volcanic ash, and this is an uptick, so we're going to be watching this because this could be the one. It could be a repeat. Continuous volcanic ash happening over the last 24 hours at Krakatoa. Now, Principia Scientifica, thank you guys. Do cosmic rays trigger earthquakes, volcanic eruptions? Well, yes, they do. And I know correlation is not causation. But in this case, it is. So, if you don't believe me, read the article. I would be convinced. Scientists have detected a correlation between historic solar minima, volcanic activity, sunspots, and climate change. But taking the concept further, it does appear that cosmic impacts could trigger seismic activity, causing earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. Now, John Casey, top of the field in his relational cycle, where he uncovers historical documents to prove his predictions. Very similar to the Oppenheimer Ranch Project. They even mentioned Ben Davidson's QuakeWatch.net as being leading the field in electric earthquakes, the electric universe theory, and bringing it all together in a concise earthquake prediction model, which they're working on. Quite successfully, by the way. And they're getting published. And the mainstream is picking up the electric earthquake model. And then they go on to quote us on a video that I must have put out that was months ago. So we're going to have to look into that. But check out this article. We're extensively quoted in here. And I just want to thank them over there at Principia Scientifica, Scientific International, specifically the author, John O'Sullivan, for picking up what we're putting down. And that is the science boom of the night. Move on to some solutions. This is 25 herbs and vegetables and plants you can grow in water. You don't even need soil. So if you're scared to start planting, start taking your neighbor's herbs and put it in a glass of water in the sun in your house. And you can grow your very own herbs in water. It's a type of aquaponics, so you can be fancy and you can use big words. But you can also grow medicinal herbs and delicious culinary complements to all of your meals. I mean, herbs are food. Herbs are traditional food and medicine. Herbal medicine has been lost because of the pharmaceutical industry. They cover up the truth about the healing nature of plants so that they can sell you their quackery. You know what you need to grow herbs in water? A recycled glass jar that you just threw out. Take it back out of the trash and clean it and start saving them. You wasteful prick. And then all you need is some water and a stupid neighbor that has no idea you're cutting their herbs and storing them in a plastic bag and quickly taking them home. So, here are the 10 best herbs you can grow in water. 10 delicious herbs you can grow indoors all year long. Spearmint, oregano, peppermint. Yes, it's true. Stevia even. Did you even know that was something in a packet? Basil, sage, Lemon balm. We got that growing out here because I planted it everywhere and it's perennial. So that means it comes up every year bigger and bigger. Who would have thought that a plant would do that? Tarragon, thyme, rosemary. If you want to know, you can read this. But if you are a lazy, like many of our subscribers, well, I'm happy to share you this video. And here we're at the video. 9 herbs you can something. Man, they're jamming us up here. Please bear with me, guys. Did I tell you about what's happening tomorrow night on the radio show? It's Ask Lee, The Inconvenient Truth, episode number 2. A couple people didn't get their questions in because they didn't write them down in the comments. Every single question left last time we did an Ask Lee were answered. So if you want to ask Lee a question, you better comment on this video by night. All the way up to the radio show, we'll answer every single question in the comment. 4th of July Independence edition of Ask Lee Wheelbarger, the military electronic systems expert and just all-around great guy. That's the Inconvenient Truth on freedomslips.com, Studio A, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, prepping for the Grand Solar Minimum Ask Lee edition. Yes, it's happening tomorrow night, as predicted. The powers that be do not want me to get you this in last 5 things happening.